Mia Redrick here, the mom strategist. You guys are going to love this scope today. Now, today I'm going to be teaching very simply, ask, and it shall be given. There are 7 points on this scope that I know are going to move you forward. I'm so excited to be able to share this with you guys today. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist, and I support clients with both life and business success. You can always check me out at miaredrick.com, Tonight is a mindset scope. It is a mindset scope. And on the scope tonight, I'm going to be teaching you seven simple ways to ask so that it can be given. All right. Do me a favor and please share on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course on Periscope, because we know that other people out there will benefit from the scope as well. It's going to be a powerful scope. All right, you guys, this is going to be a powerful scope. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist, and thank you so much for sharing. And I support clients with both life and business success. You can always stay connected to me at miaredrick.com. Mia Redrick, just my name.com. Okay, and sign up for my list over there. There's some goodies, some daily inspiration that comes in your box every day from me. And then also on Facebook, Mia Redrick, the mom strategist on Facebook. That's my page over there. Make sure we stay connected on Facebook, Mia Redrick, the mom strategist. Now, today's scope is going to be an awesome scope. They're just 7 simple points. I'm going to keep this really simple. Hey, darling, good to see you. I'm so excited to be here, Colleen. I'm going to share today 7 simple points on ask and it shall be given. Is the title of the scope. It is going to be a fire scope. It's a mindset scope. That's what I've been doing all week, okay? All week. I hope you guys have been able to catch some of these scopes. There have been some great ones this week. My only goal is to move you forward, is to get you to create that shift, to get you to think a little bit differently, you know, leaving the scope and you're thinking, man, that was me, or I can do this, or I understand this, I've got this, all right? For those of you who are just joining me, it's nice to virtually meet you. I'm Mia Redrick. I am the mom strategist, and here's my story. I got started in my business over 13 years ago, and I made the decision to go to work as myself. And what I wanted to do was combine my background as a corporate trainer and my systems of motherhood into my own business. And I had no idea how in the world would I do that. I didn't know how to combine those things. So I went to a small business resource center in my town, and I was told by the director of the business center that this idea of mom coaching, that it would never work, that no one would ever pay me to go to work as myself, and that I should, in that sense, go back to corporate America. Can you believe it? All right. And I'm so grateful that I didn't listen, that I kept looking for someone that could help me. And I ended up bumping into a coach, and I attended one of her events. And it was the first time I had ever considered working with a coach. I never thought about it. I didn't know anyone working a life or business coach. I didn't know anyone personally working with one. And her model changed my life. It was the first time I ever saw an entrepreneur that literally would take her laptop, go to another country, and work. She did not work. My coach, Terry, does not like winter. So November, December, January, and February, she would take her laptop, go to Mexico, and work. She's done that for over a decade, since the beginning of time, since I met her. And I was like, wow, that's kind of cool. Like, imagine you don't like winter and you can just pick up and run your business anywhere in the world. And I was sold. And while I didn't necessarily want to do it the way she was doing it, I wanted to have that freedom to be able to go and see my kids in school, to be that mom, you know what I mean? To read the stories, to, pass out snacks. And I just wanted to be a part of their world. All right. And I found that growing my coaching business really allowed me the opportunity to do exactly that. Fast forward, as a result of building my coaching business, standing on my gifts and my talents, I had the great opportunity to be there for my husband when he developed kidney disease over 8 years ago. And that's like 15 to 18 hours a week is the commitment for dialysis. And I don't know if you guys know anything about that treatment, but it's a very aggressive treatment. And anyone that's going through it, they're exhausted, like when they're done, like they're tired, right? And so I was so grateful that my business model was going to be there for me when I needed it most. And I could be there for my husband. I could be there for my kids. And I also didn't have to sacrifice my income because I was building my business based on time-rich models. I was growing my business from the comfort of my home so I could continue to work even though You know what I mean? I had a life crisis. And I always want to say that to you because there are other ways to generate income. And maybe you've never thought about it. Maybe you never heard about it. And this might help some of you, all right? And 3 years ago, my husband got a kidney transplant, and he's doing amazing. But we were able to hire like a private physician for him, a doctor that had a little less than 25 patients, and so he could get an elevated level of care. And I tell you this because maybe you didn't know that, one. And two, if you grow your business properly, if you ever need it, it'll be there for you, all right? To me, that's really one of the most amazing things about growing a business. And then also, I would say that what was really significant to me was that I could always date my husband in the middle of the week. I love that. I love that I go in the office 11:30 most days, and I have the flexibility to do that. I built a business that my life informs my business. My business doesn't inform my life. My business is not my hustle or my grind. And maybe there's somebody out there that's what you're looking for also. You know, as a result of growing an amazing business, my kids who are 12, 15, and 19 years old have never seen mom or dad work a job. And I tell you this because to me, when you get free, you want to stay free. That's the benefits, that you can be there for your kids or give your kids a world-class education. We've invested over $715,000 in our kids' private school tuition. And I don't say any of these things to be boastful. I hope that it inspires you. Like it gives you a target. Maybe that's what you're looking for or some version of that. And hearing my story inspires you to know that it's possible to build a brand from scratch and stand on your own skills and talents and use them in your own business, all right? Because that's what I've done over the years. But I love owning my time. That's kind of the ABCs of me, all right? I get to work with women who are smart, they're sharp, and they believe in self-investment, and they believe in God. And the clients that I work with, they're giants, like in the truest sense. They're brands, they're best-selling authors. They're attorneys, they're doctors, they're people who are at the top of their game in terms of thought leadership or their soft skills. They know how to take what they know how to do and package those things so that they can serve the world with their gifts. And if this is you, then you're going to love coming to my scopes, all right? So I want to welcome you guys here today. I am so excited about the scope today. I'm going to be teaching Ask and It Shall Be Given. That's the title of the scope today, Ask and It Shall Be Given. If you haven't shared yet on Twitter, on Facebook, on Periscope, please do. I'm about to get started in the next couple of minutes. So if you're going to share, please share now, all right? 1 second, I'm going to drink some water. Okay, awesome. All right, Ask and It Shall Be Given. That's what I'm going to be talking about today. And if you guys are ready, thank you, Colleen, for sharing. If you guys are ready, then all I want you to do is say, I am ready, Mia, and then I'm going to get started, okay? If you guys are ready tonight to hear this, Ask and It Shall Be Given, then just say, I'm ready, Mia, and I'm going to get started. Hey there, darling. What is your name? Just Cutting. I don't know what your name is, okay? Colleen is ready. Is anyone else ready? Okay, Andre is ready. Estelle is ready. Anyone else ready? Because I do think that you have to be ready to receive. All right. Phyllis is ready. Awesome. I'm excited. All right. So, hey, Michelle. Hey, Michelle. Okay. Thank you so much. I'm trying new accessories now because my hair is short. So I'm just playing with it a little bit every day. Playing with it every day. All right. So just to figure out what I like. All right. So I wanted to do this. I wanted to do this broadcast tonight because I was thinking about this, right? Ask and it shall be given is such a powerful, ask and it shall be given. 6 words, powerful 6 words. And I think sometimes these words are all readily accessible to us, but I just want to give you 7 examples of how to use these words in your life, right? And my goal is, as a result of sharing it, right, ask and it shall be given, right? As a result of me sharing these things with you, right, that my goal is that it will raise your awareness of the power of these 6 simple words that are always available to you anyway. And I do believe that, and for the most part, whatever it is that you want in your life, you have to be willing to ask for it. And when you ask for something, then you're in a position to receive it. But a lot of times we don't understand the power of asking. All right. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm talking about tonight 7 different ways that you can ask. All right. And it shall be given. All right. And if you guys are ready, as you said, then I'm ready. All right. Let's get started. Number 1, the first type of ask that is so powerful is ask for clarification before you quit something, okay? Before you give up on yourself or an idea, or you say that something isn't working, all right? I want you to hear me on this, all right? This is so powerful. I coach clients Monday through Friday, all right? And sometimes when I'm talking to potential clients, one of the things that I realize in terms of in their own lives, how they trend, is that they often have had a pattern, a trending pattern of, quitting when things don't work out, or when things get difficult, or they give up too quickly, or when something isn't working, they are not asking what they need. So one of the things that I want to challenge you with tonight, I just want you to hear me on this, all right, is that the next time you think about quitting, or the next time something isn't working, all right? I want you, instead of quitting, I want you to ask for clarification, okay? And what you're going to find when you ask for clarification is that you're going to receive clarification. There are so many people, when I talk with them, they tell me about, something that they were so close to achieving, or a result that almost happened. And then when you realize that they were so close, and the thing that was missing for each and every one of them is that they never asked for help. They never asked for clarification. They got caught up in their own frustrations. And as a result of that, that became their story. So they're saying things like this, and maybe you said this. They say things like, it doesn't work for me. It's never going to work for me. It's just too hard. When in reality, it isn't that hard if you ask for clarification, okay? And so important. And when you make it a habit to ask for clarification, and I say, for me, I always think that's getting your questions answered. Like, I'm that girl. Like, for me, I just want to get my questions answered. If you can get your questions answered, then you can usually figure out whatever it is that you want to know. And a lot of us have not mastered that asking for clarification, asking to get your questions answered no matter what, no matter where you are. That's right, Colleen, asking for clarification. So the next time you feel like giving up, I want you to look at the situation. I want you to look at the circumstance. I want you to look at the parties involved. And I want you to say to yourself, you know what? Who can I ask for clarification so that I can understand what I don't know before you quit? I want you to say, you know what? Who can I ask when something isn't working? You know what I mean? How I can fix this before I become frustrated. Because maybe in the past, you haven't built a muscle of asking for clarification. That's the first ask, okay? The second ask, and it shall be given, is I want you to ask for your value. Yes. I want you to ask for your value with your offerings, with your prices, for your intellect and your time. And this is particularly true for women. Women are notorious for this. And you guys know I'm telling you the truth, okay? We don't ask for our value. And yet, on the back end, we feel frustrated, we feel undervalued, we feel taken advantage of. We often deal with regret, you know what I mean? Or even resentment if you feel like you did something and you were expecting someone to acknowledge you, but you didn't acknowledge you. What am I talking about? When you ask for your value up front, when you say these are my terms, when you say clearly this is what my boundaries, these are what my boundaries are, okay, then people don't have a choice but to operate within those parameters. And one of the things that I want you to understand is the power of asking for your value and your worth, right? If it's something you don't want to do, then to let people know, right? Just be really clear about what the terms are, what the boundaries are, and operate within that, all right? If it's a price for your services and you keep saying, you know what, I'm never getting what I'm worth. You know, they didn't even give me whatever it is, likely because you haven't asked for your value. If I wanted to purchase your services today, it might be sketchy, like in terms of what you're charging, or maybe, you know, it's not clear. You're not clear. And as a result of that, you're not getting fully compensated for the things that you should be compensated for. Is that making sense? All right. And your time. A lot of us, because we care so much about what we're doing, and because we may have a heart for people, a lot of us really do struggle with this time issue, meaning we will often give people like all of our time, and we don't put a price tag on it. We don't put any limitations on it. You know what I mean? But then we become resentful and frustrated because we feel taken advantage of. You know, what could it look like? It might be some kind of volunteer activity that you're connected to. And you're like, man, you know, am I the only person that can do ... And I might be talking to you right now. It might be a friend that, you know, every time they need something, they're coming over to you to get it. And the fact of the matter is, it's not that you're not generous, and it's not that you're not kind. It's just that you haven't set boundaries on your time. And as a result of that, you haven't asked for your value. So no one is valuing what you're bringing to the table. And what I'm saying to you right now, what I need you to do is to ask for your value. If you're hearing me and this is making sense, I want you to write here, deal, okay? Deal. And women are really, really, really notorious for this. Guys really aren't. They usually ask for their value. Yeah, they usually ask for their value, but women don't do it. All right. And we actually feel guilty for putting the stops on or limitations on. Let me tell you why it's important. Because the reality is that, you know, what's the point in doing anything if on the front end, right? If on the back end, it's going to cause you heartache, sorrow, grief, and regret. Okay. I want you to hear me. All right. So a lot of us, we have the best intentions on the front end, but on the back end, if you don't set boundaries and put stops on the places that you're bleeding in your life, come on. All right. That's what happens. You end up feeling sorry that you've done it. You feel like you've been taken advantage of. And the only person that set you up for that is you. All right. I want you to ask for your value. Set boundaries, right, where appropriate for your time, for your energy. Have clear prices that indicate what the exchange is for your intellect, all right, for your gifts. You need to have clear prices. Can't be something that's made up. All right. If somebody wanted to work with you, we need to know what the value of that is. I need you to ask for those things. All right. Number 3. All right. I want you to ask, how can this work, instead of believing now is not my time. And I do want to go a little bit in on this one because this is something I hear a lot from women. Okay. There are women who have said, goodness, it's just so interesting. They say to me often, you know, I just figured it wasn't my time. And I'm like, really? You figured you wanted to pursue your dream. You were thinking about something that was on your heart. You always wanted to write a book, and you figured you didn't do it and it wasn't your time. And I'm like, wow, that's really interesting thought process. And if you're that person that said, maybe you're here right now and you said, it's not my time, you know, my time is coming. I want you to ask, how can this work instead? The next time you want to do something, realize your dream, go for your goal, you know, start graduate school, whatever it is that you're thinking about doing, I want you to say instead, how can this work? You know, I have women a lot of times, they'll say to me, they want to go to graduate school, for example, and maybe they're like, I always wanted to go back and get a second degree, but I have kids and I'm working full time, you know, now it's not my time. You know what I mean? Maybe when the kids are here, when the kids graduate, or somebody's in high school, or somebody, you know, whatever. Okay, you guys know the excuses, right? And I'm like, really? I said, so, you know, what about how can it work? Let's ask, how can it work? Could it work? Could you take one class at a time? You know what I'm saying? Could you take 2 classes? You know what I'm saying? Like once we start asking, how can it work? We're now looking for a solution that can allow us to have the things that we want. But when you start saying things like, it is not my time, then you are not looking for a solution to get you what you want. Does this make sense? And if you haven't thought of it, that's why I wanted to do the scope today, because my hope was that you would hear it and say, I have said these things. And instead of you saying, now's not my time, you know, for me to move forward with my business, you know, we just moved into a house. You know, people say things like this, like, we just moved into a house. Now's not my time to move ahead with my business. Are you serious? Are you kidding? Perfect time. All right. Ask, how can this work? what can I do? All right. That's a really powerful question. And when you ask that question, the answers that are going to come from that are going to be relevant in regards to the dream that, or the thing that you want to accomplish. All right. But if you start saying, you know what, now's not my time, you're never going to find the perfect time because it doesn't exist. You have to create that. All right. Today, for those of you who are just joining me, I am teaching Ask and It Shall Be Given. There are seven topics that I'm covering today. Already I've talked about the importance of, number one, asking for clarification. Number two, asking for your value. And number three, asking how can this work, right? For anything that you want to have in your life, all right? And my only goal is to get you to think about ways that you can use asking as a powerful way to move your life and your business forward. A lot of us, we have not because we ask not. It's just the reality. And today I'm just breaking this down in a really simple way to share with you 7 simple ways that you can employ ask and it shall be given. All right. Number 4. All right. Number 4, ask for what you want instead of what you believe you can have or deserve. I'm going to repeat that. Ask for what you want instead of what you believe you can have or deserve. All right. Now, this is so important because, man, you know how you guys have seen this. Sometimes, we shoot ourselves in the foot. I see this a lot with entrepreneurs. You have a great program. You've got a great product. And when you decide, you know what I mean, how to price your products and services. Let's say it's something that should be selling for $5,000 and you're selling it for $500. Really? I do see this, okay? And the fact of the matter is, it's like, how does this happen? It's because a lot of times we are afraid to ask for what we really want. And instead, we ask for only what we believe we deserve or we can get. And this is so true. I see it with clients, sometimes with customers. I'll say to them, why are you charging these prices? And they start thinking about the environment, right? Like letting the environment dictate for them what they should be selling anything for. Your environment doesn't dictate the prices for anything that you're offering. The value that you offer, the transformation you provide dictates the value of anything that you're selling. So instead of you asking only for what you believe somebody's going to pay you, right? That's mindset, all right? Or believe what you deserve. I want you to ask for what you want. And sometimes the best way to do that, I did this with a client today, actually. The best way to do that, for those of you who have programs and products and you've been struggling with prices, is each and every component of whatever it is that you're offering as a product or service, break down each one of those things and write down the value of each of those things. Like, what's the value of helping someone, write a book? Okay. What's the value of helping someone get media? And then, write a price for each of those things. And when you're done with the list of everything that you're providing your client that they're getting as a result of your product and service, total that up. And then you'll see, like, man, the value, the exercise I did with the client today, she could see easily that her value of what she was offering the client was $18,000, I think it was $18,100, okay? And she had her highest price was like $1,500. And I showed her right there, listen, this is a $9,000 program at a minimum based on what you have right here, okay? And she could see it. So if you've been struggling, trying to figure out how do you, charge what you're worth, that is a really great way to do it. But you need to ask for what you want instead of what you believe somebody's going to say yes to. And when I tell you that your mindset determines the success of your business, I mean it. If you think small, you ask for small. If you believe big, even if you've got a small opportunity in front of you, you'll make it big because of how you see it. You'll make it big because that's the way you see yourself. And so many of us, I'm just saying, so many of us are not getting where we want to be, not because we can't have it. It's just because you'd rather sell that product that's $100 than selling that product that's $10,000. I'm telling the truth, because of your own belief. And if this is you, I want this to stop today. And I want you to simply ask for what you want. Make it a practice. And if you're weak at that muscle, make a practice every single day. Ask for something you want every day. Something that you really want every day, all right? Make it a practice, a discipline to get used to asking for and getting what you want. Start with small things. It could be, something that you want in the deli line when you're ordering your lunch. Maybe you want it, maybe you want something separated, whatever it is. Start asking for what you want. And I know this to be true because my husband laughs about this all the time. He always says, you get exactly what you want. I'm very clear about what I want, all right? That's what I want. And one of the things I've learned is that life will give you what you ask of it. And most people never get what they want, not because it's not available to them. They don't get it because they have never asked for it to begin with. If you don't ask for it, you're not going to get it. All right. It's just really, it sounds so basic, but it is so, so, so true. All right. Deal. All right. Number five, I want you to ask for the opportunity to renegotiate the bad deals, okay? I want you to ask for the opportunity to renegotiate what you want, all right? So here's the thing. Life will give you what you negotiate. And I always say, if you got a deal you don't like, renegotiate that deal. And know that that's the power of asking. I think a lot of us, we don't get this. Like, renegotiate so that you can get the things that you want. Ask for, the opportunity to renegotiate. Renegotiate your wages at work. Renegotiate a contract with a client. Renegotiate, renegotiate. Like, I'm going to give you an example. Perfect renegotiation for me. I remember, and I told you guys this, that when I started working with my coach years ago, she was charging $1,000 an hour. Okay. I did not have $1,000 an hour. Okay. And I didn't even know what I was going to ask her, but I knew I needed to work with her, right? I knew that I needed her expertise. So I went to her. This is what I'm talking about. And I asked for an opportunity to renegotiate. Now, I didn't say, hey, look, I want you to work with me for free. Nope, that's not fair. I don't think like that anyway. But I knew I wanted to honor her time, but in the same token, honor my budget. So I said, I have a budget of $150. What can I get for that? That was a renegotiation. That renegotiation changed my whole life. I had to sign an 18-month contract, and I had the opportunity to work with her in that moment. And within 6 months, moved up in other kind of coaching programs because of what I was learning as a result of that. A lot of you guys could benefit from that. A lot of people just throw their hands up. The moment that what you want, you're like, this isn't attainable. You just sit down and you say, you know what? It's not attainable. Instead, start thinking about in life, how can you ask for whatever it is that you want and renegotiate, right? To get what you want. That's to me like the sweet spot. I do it all the time, right? I'm like, how? I'll give you another example. I remember, and I know some of you guys might know this story, but I remember when I was signed to the show America Now, all right? And all of my colleagues, and that's like 40 people, all of my colleagues primarily lived in LA, except for Bill Rancic. He lives in Chicago, but he had a house in LA. And myself, it was in Maryland, and they were all shooting every week. Okay. And my husband was on dialysis during this time. And I was like, that just wasn't congruent really for my life in that moment. And I asked for renegotiation. I said, is it possible to shoot every 6 weeks? Is it possible for me to, shoot, do what I want to do, live my dream, shoot on a show that I want to be on, but can I shoot every 6 weeks? And they were like, oh, okay, well, sure. Nobody had ever asked them if you could do that, but it was possible. And what I want to tell you is that there are things that you want right now that are absolutely possible for you, but because you haven't asked for the opportunity to renegotiate, it is not available to you. So I was the only person on that show that shot every 6 weeks. And whenever I came, I did most of my shooting over 4 or 5 days, knocked the ball out the park, then flew back home, came back 6 weeks later. I'm just saying that life will give you whatever you want. A great example, another example to get you guys thinking. Every other year, I have a due less year. That means in my life, every other year, I subtract things that are on my list in my life. Any volunteer activities I'm connected to, anything I've got going on with the kid, whatever. I subtract every other year things that I am attached to create room in my life for growth, right? Because moms, in the truest sense, sometimes we keep adding on things in your life. And, the reason you said yes years ago is different than today. Like maybe your life is different. You don't want to do it anymore. And I remember I was asked to join a board, and I really wanted to join the board, but I was in a do less year. So I asked if it was possible. I said, I'm in a do less year in my life. I said, is there any way possible that I could join next year? And they said, well, we do have some board openings next year. That would work perfectly. See, what if I didn't ask? What if I was that person that said, oh man, I want to do that, but ... See, a lot of us don't realize that you can get what you want, but you got to know what you want to renegotiate to get what you want. Is this making sense? If this is making sense, and I'm getting this, me, all right? My only goal today is to support you in understanding that those six words, ask and it shall be given, are real words, okay? And that they can happen for you, all right? That it can happen for you, right? All right, perfect. You heard some. Okay, awesome. You're getting this, all right? Number six. All right. Ask for the type of mentorship you desire instead of believing what is impossible, right? Okay, awesome. Okay, great. All right, so ask for the kind of mentorship that you want instead of believing that what you want is impossible. Now, I've learned this over and over and over again, all right? Mentorship is something that means a lot to me. It has absolutely changed my life, all right? And I don't know if you guys know this story or not, but nonetheless, I remember being at an event. I think I told you guys once this story, but I remember being at this event, the speaking event. I was invited by my college, and they had like special tables, and Ariana Huffington was the keynote speaker at this event. It was for women CEOs, okay? And I think it was for 200 women CEOs. Phenomenal event. And so she's there, she's speaking, she's a dynamic speaker. Her story had me like captivated. And I was like, oh my goodness gracious. Now, Ariana was speaking, and this was like a couple months after she had signed the largest blog deal with AOL. I think it was something like, I want to say it was something like $600 million. It was something like that, okay? But she had signed the largest blog deal with AOL to put the Huffington Post blogs on inside of AOL, okay? The email server. So I remember listening to her story, and I just knew she was going to be talking about that transaction. I think that's what everyone thought she was going to talk about, but she didn't talk about that. And she talked about, the power of mentorship in her life, like how being around women who were like-minded, who encouraged her as she was failing, as she was rising. And the way she described it was really funny. She said that she had some friends that were really healthy, and that they would talk about their dreams as they would hike up the mountains. And then the friends that weren't in as great shape would talk about their dreams as they were climbing, as they were all climbing back down, right? And so I thought that was so funny. But one of the things that she said was the power of mentorship and asking for women who are like-minded, right, to be in your company so that you can learn from them, so you can grow with them. And I think a lot of us, we would be so much better off if we were not alone. You guys know, it's the truth. It's something I know a lot about. I match a lot of my clients with accountability partners. And it's one of the things that I find that when it clicks for women who really been craving mentorship, they've been craving being around people their own ambition level and above, they've been craving to have a conversation with people who want to talk about the same kind of things, because you may have people in your life that you love, but they may not be entrepreneurial. They may not be into what you're into right now in terms of your personal growth or your business growth, right? And as a result of that, you feel like, all right, they just changed the topic. But I'm telling you that you need to ask for the type of mentorship that you desire instead of believing that it is impossible, or instead of networking sometimes with people who are not your own ambition level or above, or instead of trying to force your friends who are not going where you're going in terms of your entrepreneurial pursuits, right? Or even maybe in terms of, it could be even in terms of anything related to your life that's specific. Find people who have unique subsets that are really interested in what what you're interested in, and then form unions with them. All right. It's really, really important. So over the years, you guys know, one of the things that I've always loved to do is like my triathlete friends. You know what? My best friends, they didn't do that with me. You know what I mean? They didn't do that with me. Okay. I found a subset of people who wanted to do that with me. My entrepreneurial friends, I found a subset of women who, that's all we want to talk about are click-through rates and conversion rates and client acquisition and infrastructure in a business, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. All right. So what I'm saying to you is, find your people. All right. Find your mentors, right? Thank you so much. Hey there. Good to see you. Find your mentors, right? Find a group of people who are your ambition level above. Ask for that type of mentorship and know that you deserve it. And when you get that, your life is going to be better because of the accountability, because of mentorship changed my life. It gave me a different reflection of what my life could look like. I remember every single mentor I've had in this coaching space, they reflected to me what possibility could look like if I just did the things that they did. And that inspired me. And I think so often we stay in the same place because we don't have a reflection of where we're going. You know what I'm saying? We just have a reflection of where we are. And I'm not saying that anything's wrong with where you are right now, but if you're talking about elevating and going to your next level, having a mentor often shows you another perspective of what it looks like. I'm like, what? I remember talking to one of my mentors, oh my gosh, and the reflection was so simple, and it was, I was paying $16 an hour for a VA to support me in my business. Now, this is over 10 years ago, and she was paying $3. Now, she was making millions of dollars in her business, and I was making a couple $1,000s in my business. I had just gotten started in that business. Now, something's wrong with this picture. And I remember just having those reflections of how to do things right, that it really changed for me. It changed my expectation. It changed how I was setting my business up. It changed my infrastructure. It changed my expectations, and it gave me a perspective of what to do. I think a lot of people don't have that. It's really important. And then number seven, I want you to ask God for divine guidance. And I believe that in all things that we're doing, that at the end of the day, if you want to show up powerfully, then you can't forget your power source. All right. And a lot of us, we do. It's just not a practice. When we think about our dreams, our plans, and our goals, we haven't even factored God in the whole conversation. You guys know I'm telling the truth. All right. I talk to people all the time. They tell me that God is the center of their life. And then I'm like, so did you pray about it? Didn't pray about it. Okay. Did you talk to God about it? Didn't talk to God about it. Or better yet, I have a client and I have lots of people who have a very strong spiritual conviction, and then they'll tell me they're building out a coaching program that's a reflection of their life, and I'll say, is God a part of it? And they're like, no, I was wondering if I could do that. And I'm like, come on now. Okay, all your power comes from your divine source, being 100% authentic and being yourself. And you need to ask God for your divine guidance. That's where all your power comes from. And I know it sounds really basic, but the thing is, people don't. They don't take it. They don't take what they want to do in the most basic way. Hey, darling, they don't take it to God. They don't take it to God. They don't say, God, what do you think? Okay, what are your plans for me? You're welcome. What are your plans for my life? Is this a great idea? God, I was telling you guys recently how I use a God journal, right? I write to God, this is what I'm thinking today. And then whatever he writes back to me is what I respond, what I read. And then I say, well, what do you think about this? I'm not going to make a move about something that's supposed to be amazing in my life without my divine guidance. What about you? All right. And I just want to say that I want you guys to get this. I want you to understand that there is a power that is available to each and every one of us, right? And yeah, I ask him all the time. I guess that's why I'm here. Yeah. There's a divine power that is available to each and every one of us. But if you don't ask, it can't be given, right? Is it a good idea? Or a God idea? A God idea is an amazing idea, all right? And the thing is, if you're not taking something that you say that you want to touch people around the world with to God, then it's not going to be as powerful as you want it to be anyway, because that is where all your divine guidance comes from. That's where all your power comes from. Today, what I talked about very simply are 7 ways to ask so it can be given to you, right? And what I've explained so far, number 1 is ask for clarification. Often women, we don't ask for clarification. We give up, we quit. You know what I mean? We say things are not working because why? We don't ask, all right? So one of the things that I want to challenge you guys today is to ask for clarification when it's something that you need to know more, when you need to go deeper, okay, in order for you to get exactly what you need or get your needs met, all right? Number 2, ask for your value with your offerings. Really, really, really important, all right? That means your prices. Ask for your value for your intellect. Ask for your value as it relates to your time. Women are really not great at this. Men are better at this, and I want this to change. The fact of the matter is, ask for your value. If I wanted to take you home today, meaning your products and your services, what's the full value of the transformation you provide? Do you know what that is? You need to know what that is. And you need to listen to the beginning of this broadcast so you can hear the little exercise that I gave you today. Number 3, ask how can this work instead of believing that it's not your time. And this is for those of you who are like, I'm just too busy. You know what? The kids are, when they graduate from school, you know if that's you, when you're that person that instead of moving forward, you've got an excuse about why you can't move forward because it's just not the right time. Ask, how can you make this work instead? And maybe with asking that question, you're now in partnership for finding a solution instead of closing the door on something that you really want. And that's what women do, all right? And we ask those questions as if we're looking for possibility, but the statement in and of itself, you're not. You're closing the door. Ask, how is it possible? I always do that. How is it possible? How would that be possible? How is that possible? Because if it's something I want, then I just need to know how it's possible. How can I make it work for me? All right, that's what I'm looking for, that option. Number 4, ask for what you want instead of what you believe you can have or what you believe you deserve. That's all mindset. And the fact of the matter is, life will give you exactly what you believe you deserve. All right. So when you look right now to the right or to the left, are you thinking about your business, your prices, or you looked right now inside, today maybe you checked your balance in your bank account. Just know that life is giving you exactly what you believe you deserve. And if you want something different, you got to change your mindset. You got to ask for what you want instead of what you believe you can get. And I hear this all the time when people say to me, I want to work with this group of people, but they're working with this group of people. It's like, what? Like, you want to work with this demographic, but you're working with this demographic. Why is that? Because of belief or believing what you deserve. All right. All right. My clients do choose me, but I only work with a certain demographic of person. And I'm very clear about that. All right. And so the fact of the matter is, people who are not a fit for me, just choose me and work with me. What about that in your business? Really important. Okay. That you understand how to ask for what you want. All right, and stay in that place. Number 5, ask for opportunities to renegotiate what you want. So many times, if you see something that's laid out and it's not what you want, we forget to renegotiate. I renegotiate all the time. And you guys heard several examples tonight of just simple ways that I renegotiate so that I can make things work. I can make things fit. And if you haven't been renegotiating with life, now's your opportunity to ask for those opportunities to renegotiate. Number 6, ask for the type of mentorship you deserve instead of believing that that's impossible. There's so many women that say, I can't find any positive women. I can't find people like me. I can't find a teacher that I can learn from. And the fact of the matter is, it's already there. It's already available to you. And I want you to start asking for the type of mentorship that you want. Maybe you're at an event and you see somebody that you're like, man, where she's going is where I'm looking. That reflection is totally where I want to be. Let me go ask her. What would it take to mentor with you? What would it take? What are the requirements? All right. And I want to say what are the requirements because I do believe that if you're in a mentoring relationship with someone, that many times those mentors are going to be compensated for their time. And you have to be prepared for what that looks like. I think of it this way. Who's going to ask anyone to give you, be 100% vested in your dream, right? To take time away from their family, right? To help you advance your life for free. I mean, it's just like, it's the most ungrateful act ever, like the most ungrateful thought ever. I would never ask someone to take time out of their life to make my life better and not make their life better, all right? So if you're thinking of approaching someone and you want to ask them to mentor you, then you also be in the position or be thinking, what can I do also to fully value that relationship? It is a mutual exchange, absolutely. And then number 7, ask God for divine guidance. Like, really? Okay? Ask God for help. And a lot of times, I mean, every single thing that I've done in my business, I'm going to tell you, I'm a mom coach, okay? You guys know how many mom coaches you met. If I tell you the number of side eyes and blank stares that I got over the years with just having this idea, people thinking it was so silly, didn't make any sense, and all that kind of stuff, I only had God to talk to, the truth of the matter, because it was a divine, it was divine inspiration from the beginning. And one of the things that I realized, and even today, like before I'm going to do anything, I'm going to take it to God and I'm going to talk to God. And whether that's prayer for you or whether you like to do the God journals, which is what I like to do, or some combination of that, it doesn't matter. But the fact of the matter is, whatever it is that you want to happen, all your power lies with God, like literally. Okay. And he only wants first class for you. All right. And that's the reality. So you need to be taking it to him. That's it. That's what I had today. I hope you guys got great value on the scope today. Ask and it shall be given was the title of the broadcast today. Ask and it shall be given. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist and I support clients with both life and business success. You can always stay connected to me at miaredrick.com or on Facebook, Mia Redrick, the mom strategist, right? Was it awesome? Thank you so much. If you guys don't mind, tell me one thing, thank you so much, one thing that you learned. What was one takeaway that you had as a result of being here? Thank you so much, right? What was one takeaway that you got from being here today? Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys. One lesson that you got from being here today. There were some good ones here. And I thought, you know what, there's a power in asking. And I don't know that we do it enough. I know women, we don't do it enough. And it's a practice, it's a discipline, but we all can get better. And these are some really simple but powerful ways to, up-level our ability to ask and really be able to ask for what you want, right? Like literally, you got to ask for what you want or you're not going to get what you want. And this is for those of you who are selling a program for $500 that should be $5,000, okay? Somebody that's selling something for $1,000 that should be $10,000, all right? I just want you to understand that life will pay you what you ask, all right? And that you're getting right now what you're asking for. And that's what we want to make sure that you are getting exactly what you want. Are there any other ahas? Ask for clarification. Don't just guess, wonder, or give up, right? And this is what happens. People get so frustrated and because of what they don't know. But the fact of the matter is, make it a practice to ask. Get clarification. Number 6 and 7. 6 and 7 is ask for the type of mentorship you deserve, right? And then number 7 is ask God for divine guidance, right? How is that possible? Absolutely. How is it possible? Ask, how can it work? All right, that's so important. And a lot of times we never think about asking that question. And we're saying, well, now must not be my time. And I'm thinking, now is your time. If you decide it's your time, right? That's what helped you, right? Ask, how can it work? All right, how is this possible? I have a lot of clients who they've said, hey, I want to go to school. I can't go to school because my kids are young and resources are tight. And I'll say, well, do you have to go full time? Can you take a class one at a time? Let's start playing with how can it work? How can it work? What could it look like? Could you go in the evenings? You know what I mean? Could you go on the weekends? If scheduling is a conflict. So when we start looking at how can it work, now we're looking at different possibilities and solutions that can happen versus it's not my time, closed statement, end the door. Nobody's looking for any type of possibility in that. All right. So I'm glad that you guys got that. Were there any other ahas or any other questions surrounding the scope today? Any other questions surrounding this? All right. I want to thank you guys for your time. Ask for the opportunity to renegotiate. Don't just walk away from the deal or situation. I love this. Come on, guys. You're at the table. Renegotiate. All right. Come on, renegotiate. It is a great practice. And if you are weak at renegotiating, just start practicing on small things. Instead of saying, if you don't get what you want to say, let me ask you a question. Is it possible to ... Okay, that's a renegotiation. You're putting something on the table and trying to reconfigure it so it can work for you. I think so many people walk away and the deal is close. You can have what you want. You just never asked for it. People don't think about it. They're so used of yes or no that they don't realize and you know what I mean? Just renegotiate what you want. Ask for that renegotiation. Really, really, really powerful in your life. I'm always thinking about how I can renegotiate. But renegotiation works great when you know what you want. You got to know what you want. And that's why number 2 is so important. Asking for your value, right, and your offerings and your prices and for your time and your intellect. Because when you are asking for your value, then you know what you want. All right. But if you don't know what you want, that's why a lot of people don't renegotiate, because they don't know what they're renegotiating for. They don't know what they want. You got to know what you want. All right. That's what makes you a great negotiator. All right. Is knowing what you want. All right. Does that make sense? All right. Are there any other ahas? Any other takeaways? I want to thank you guys so much for your time today. Thanks for reinforcing you have to give in mentorship relationships, not just taking. Absolutely, right? Mentorship is a give and take, no doubt about it. And those are relationships that I treasure, that I honor, that I respect. I'm very thoughtful about how I communicate with the teachers, the trainers in my life, right? And that I don't take them for granted. It's just really important, right? And I always say, when you meet great people anyway, you know what I'm saying? That care about you. Most people don't have to care about you. Most people don't care about you. So always honor people who treat you well. You know what I'm saying? Always know the difference. And if you don't know the difference, you're going to miss out on life. You're going to get to a place in your life and you're going to look back and be like, that was a great person, but I didn't honor that person. You know what I'm saying? I didn't respect that person. I wasn't kind to that person. I didn't talk politely to that person. All right. You got to understand that. I always think about my relationships are my number one currency. All right. Number one currency, my relationships. Okay. That's the reality. And so when I have great relationships, I'm going to always make sure that I show up the way that I need to, first class, with those relationships. Fact of the matter. All right. And I want all of my mentors to have me on speed dial, really. Okay. If they ever have something in mind, go where you are celebrated, not tolerated. Absolutely. Absolutely. We all have places that we belong. All right. And we have to create that, and I think a lot of times we don't think about it. We get frustrated. You know what I mean? When we don't have the kind of connections that we want to have. Well, it takes time to build that, but you've got to ask for that. Okay. You got to ask for that level of mentorship. You got to ask for that level of connection and community. All right. And you got to play full out in that too. All right. That's really important as well. I told you guys recently, my very first accountability group, it was called the Sister Circle. We showed up for each other every single week. If you didn't show up, I think it was if you missed one, we gave you you have to check in, and you can miss one time. You missed 2 times, you were out. You couldn't even get back in the group. Done. Because nobody wants an accountability partner that's selfish. Like, come on. Who wants an accountability partner that only shows up when they have something to say? Not me. Okay. I want an accountability partner who's in it with you. That's a great accountability partner. And that's how we showed up for each other. So I would be in the airport, or, I could be doing anything. We were all checking in because those were the terms of our commitment to one another and our dreams for one another. And it is one of the reasons why we all achieved significant success, because we were down for each other. We didn't judge each other. You know what I mean? We put our egos aside and we said, okay, I'm not here, you're not here, but this is where we're going. All right. And we just focused on those things, but we were accountable to that. And we insisted on that for one another. Really, really powerful. It works, really works tremendously. I want to thank you guys for your time today. I appreciate you for coming. I'll be on tomorrow, Monday through Friday. I'll come on Periscope after my workouts tomorrow morning. I think it's a leg day tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow I think is a leg day. And tomorrow morning I'll be on probably between 10:30 and 12 o'clock, I think. And then maybe tomorrow night. I don't remember if I'll be on tomorrow night or not. But tomorrow, during the day, I'll definitely be on with a scope from the gym, my gym scopes. If you guys are not following me, make sure you hit that little guy here on Periscope. Make sure you hit the little guy here on Periscope. And if you haven't shared on Twitter, on Facebook, and of course on Periscope, please do. Now's a great time to do it, because we can still invite more people in. And of course, if you're watching the replay, you can heart it up, okay? You guys don't, you know what I mean? Don't skip on the hearts, all right? I always bring my A game, and I love it, all right? I hope you guys got great value today, and I appreciate you for coming. I'm Mia Redrick. I'm the mom strategist. I support clients with both life and business success. You can always stay connected to me at miaredrick.com by signing up for my list over there, or on Facebook, Mia Redrick, the Mom Strategist. If you're interested in coaching with me, check out my bio here on Periscope. Lots of great options there. All right, I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great night. Bye.